One of the questions that I get the most in the comments about converting a box truck into a work living space is asking about the buying process. How did I decide on what truck to buy? What was the buying process like? What was it like buying direct from U-Haul? What were the options that I had, etc., etc. But I put off making a whole video about it because I didn't really feel like I was qualified to talk about it. This is the first time I've done anything like this in my life, so I didn't really feel qualified to talk about it. However, I actually filmed a lot of the process just for myself, so I wanted to show you some of this footage and talk you through some of my thought process and my experience in choosing a truck from U-Haul as opposed to trucks from private sellers. So let me grab my computer and we can go through this monstrosity. So this was the first vehicle that I looked at. It was technically a private sale that I found on Facebook. And I think the price was like $3,500. This picture is not the actual vehicle that was on there. It was way, way older than this. And it turns out that it was parked up in some secondhand car place at the back of the lot. They had it for a long, long time. And I think that 3,500, in hindsight, 3,500 was probably still marked up quite a lot. So I'm going to take you through this right now. This footage here is the utility drawers on the sides. So these are actually tucked in. This is where people put their tools and stuff. I guess it's like a utility truck. So all of these things on the sides are utility drawers that take away from the space on the inside of the truck. As you can see, a lot of space is taken up with these closets, cabinets. And there would need to be a lot of cutting through the metal in order to look through these. So this is now the inside of the truck. It had aluminum shelving or whatever, shelving everywhere. That is the heat deflector we're looking at the front. This is shelving that is going across the eye height that would have to be cut down, or I was thinking that maybe I could turn it into upper cabinets. But then there's obviously the lower cabinets from the outside, which is what we're looking at here, that are tucked in on the inside. It just takes up so much space. And I was tempted to get this. I was very tempted to get this because of the price. It was so cheap. In hindsight, look at this. In hindsight, I am so glad. I can't even begin to tell you how glad I am that I did not get this truck. So glad. I mean, it's just, you get free tools. There's probably about $200 worth of tools in there. Terrible choice of truck though. So yeah, this is the inside. As you can see, the roof was pretty short. It's definitely shorter than this one. I think it was like a 10 foot, maybe not even a 10-foot truck. Roof was super short. And you can see the lack of space here. Such a lack of space. Here's a bit of a clearer view through. There was also a lot of, there was just tools and stuff in it. So this is just like plasterboard or whatever you call it in the States. I mean, there was so much work that would have to be removed from this, and sealing the outside and everything. And if it had been like $1,000, if this truck had been $1,000, I would have taken it. But and seen what I could do with it, but it is not good. It is not a good choice to convert because there's so much work that just, you know, cutting through all this metal and stuff. There's just no way I would have been able to do it. So this was it. Not the best condition. There was a mattress already in there, so someone had already been sleeping in there. As you can see here. This is not good, but the one thing that gave me a weird bit of confidence was this idea that it was from a dealership. I don't know why at the time. It gave me some confidence. And this is like 7 months ago or whatever. So I feel like I'm looking back on an ignorant little child making a terrible decision. I'm so glad that I did not take this. But yeah, I thought that buying from a dealership was going to be somehow more legit. They would have taken my money. And any problems with it, they would have, I don't even think I would have got a bill of sale for it. Absolute mess. The other cars of the lot were fine, but this was clearly like absolute back of the lot. And even the lock on the back was just like, that would have been so much work. It would have been so much work. I did manage to film the underside a little bit and the engine. So this is the underside that I took a look at. It definitely seemed like, and maybe better mechanics or actual mechanics would be able to tell me differently, it does seem like the rust is surface rust as opposed to like deep rust. That was the one thing that I think I picked up from watching Nomad Brad's videos, is just like the differences in rust that you get. This was obviously from like a Texas vehicle, so there's not like deep rust that I could see. So it seems like it was a lot of surface stuff. Yeah, not crazy amounts of rust on there from what I can see. Again, I am not a mechanic. I have very little experience, but the underside actually doesn't look terrible to me. The outside covering is warped. Yeah, I don't know. I was just filming this and I sent it on to like family members and stuff, and I was like, what do you think? There would have just been so much work in order to make this actually into a big space. So I'm really glad that I didn't get it, but I did feel a weird sense of urgency of like, I really have to make a decision on this because it was so cheap. But in hindsight, I feel like that truck is probably still there, or it was sent to a scrapyard. Tires look okay. Don't look terrible. And this was the front of it. It had like the front deflector thing, as you can see. And the one thing that I remember about this truck is that the latch to pop the engine open was stuck, so I couldn't even have a look at the engine. But somehow it has it had its little sticker on it to be able to drive. So yeah, this is the first truck that I looked at. It was definitely, in hindsight, I'm so glad that I didn't get it. I just kind of lost my truck virginity to this truck. I sat in it, I turned the engine on for about 30 seconds, and my gut just said no. So I'm really glad that I did not take this truck, because it would have been very small for me. It would have been a lot of like cutting into metal, trying to seal the outside, like seal all those cabinet doors closed and stuff. Like, just, it would have been a terrible idea. So that was a no, thankfully. Then the second truck that I looked at was, I only have photos of this. This was the second truck that I looked at, and it was a similar price. I've got it in my head that it was 26 foot, but I'm not 100% sure. And I drove out to meet these guys. It was on Facebook. It'd been on for like an hour, and it was a super cheap price. I don't know what year this was, but I think they were selling this for $3,000. And I feel like it's 26 foot. Someone can correct me in the comments. They'll be able to figure this out. I'm going to call it a 26 foot truck. But I was like, 26 foot truck. It had, I think it was 180,000 miles on it. And it had been used by a bunch of electricians. For me, I was like, that is a lot of truck for very little money. And I just wanted to get something that was 180 and under. So this is at the top range for me, 180,000 miles. And I was so tempted by the length of this, because I was like, this is going to be massive. You know, I can build a full apartment in here, etc. And I was very tempted by the length of it. However, when I got in person, as someone who's never driven a truck before, the length of it and the size of it, I was suddenly like, oh, this is going to be tough to drive. This is not parking in any reasonable parking lots. Like, I'm going to have to really concentrate as to where I'm going to park this. My truck is a regular 14-foot U-Haul. The actual box itself is like 12 foot with the grandma's attic is an extra 2 foot. So the whole length of this truck that I'm in right now is 22 foot. I think the box of this, yeah, I think it is 26 foot. So that is a lot of truck. And the truck that I'm in now just fits in a normal parking spot. Like just, there was no way that I would be able to park it in any normal parking spot. It would have to be specialized spots, or I would have to park like an asshole and park over, 4 different parking spaces, more probably. So in its presence, as someone who didn't drive a truck at the time, it was so intimidating, and my gut was like, shit, dude, are you going to be able to do this? Here's the inside. The inside was trashed, full of dust. This was the inside of the truck. So this is all the stuff that they had in there. They'd already cut through to the cab itself. So that was one thing that I was like, great. The inside was actually in good condition from what I saw, apart from all the stuff in it. They were ready to like move that stuff out then and there because they knew it was so cheap. When I did stand inside of it, if I wanted to live in like Arizona or, one of the states where you can sit on like BLM land and stuff like that, this truck would have been incredible. To have such a huge truck and the amount of space inside to do whatever you want with, like shower, washer, dryer, like this would have been it. If you wanted to just park it 6 months of the year on one spot and then moved 6 months of the year in another spot, this would have been an incredible truck if you didn't want to move it anywhere. But for me, being in Houston, this was just not it. There was no way that I could park this anywhere, and just driving it would have just freaked me out. They were pretty eager to get rid of it. I did kind of the worst thing that I could because I wanted to make a decision sooner rather than later, and this was cheap. I said yes to it in the moment because I was just like trying to be decisive and going, okay, I just need to get something and I need to get to work on it. And I said, I'll come back tomorrow. We'll Zelle. You clear all the stuff out and I'll come and take it off your hands. But on the drive home, I just felt worse and worse and worse and worse. And then by the time I got home, I was literally phone in hand messaging him to say that I wasn't going to take it because I just felt so bad. I don't think they were taking all the stuff out then. They said they were going to do it the next day. I was just like, look, I'm really sorry, but I actually don't think that I'll be able to drive it. I don't feel prepared for it. And I think it's a really bad idea that I buy this truck. So I'm really sorry. I know you've had it up for a day, so hopefully there'll be other people that will be able to see it, but I'm not going to be able to take this truck from you. But thank you so much. If you want me to like sell you some money for your time, I'm happy to do that. And he was like, no, don't worry about it. Thanks for letting me know. So I felt pretty bad, but there was no way. So truck number 2 was a no because it was too big. It's like the 3 bears right now. Too small, too big. And actually, truck number 3 was just right. But there was a story to this next one. So this truck was Isuzu truck. And it was being sold for, I think it was $5,500. And I saw this. It'd been in storage for 6 months. It was used by a removals company previously. And from all the photos and stuff, it looked great. It looked so good. It had 120,000 miles on the 120,000 miles on the clock, which was great. And everything about it, I was like, I want this. So I arrived, took a look at it, I stupidly told the guy what I was going to do with it. And I think that was my biggest mistake. And I explain why in a minute, but I told the guy what I was going to do with it. And he was like, oh, wow, that's such a cool idea. You're going to convert it? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn it into workspace, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, a bunch of people do it. And he was like, wow, yeah, I guess you could like sell it for more after you've done it up. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. If you do a good job on it. Anyway, this was the truck. Here's the inside, which the wooden floors were okay, I would have had to strip them anyway, simply for the fact that I needed to insulate them. And the roll-up door on the side was a bit there. I think the back of the truck was, I think it was 14 foot total. So it's basically this truck, but with the grandma's attic on it as well. And the cabin, the actual truck itself was separate. So I love this truck. I was looking around and I was really trying not to show any excitement with the guy. But inside I was like, I love this truck. The only pain in the ass was the roll-up door on the back and the roll-up door on the side. But internally I was like, this is fucking awesome. Wooden sides already. This is me filming the sort of underside stuff. The underside to me, and again, proper apologies for the video. The rust here doesn't look terrible. Actually, the rust doesn't look great on this. In hindsight, doesn't look great. But I remember it being not terrible. Yeah, this is what I kind of remember, being like not terrible. But everything overall was pretty much fine. I couldn't see any like signs of like collisions and stuff like that much. So this is the inside. They'd use it for removals. So they'd like made some modifications to the inside, just like slight modifications, but everything was just in general, it was just a basic box. Nothing crazy with it. I was just sort of scanning for damage. Oh yeah, they'd done, I think they'd had an extractor fan on that they'd taken out, he said, or something like that. The floor, actually in hindsight, it kind of looks like the floor had some sort of leak on it. I'm looking at it with a bit more of a critical eye now. So yeah, the wood there doesn't look great. It looks like it has a leak, or has had a leak. And a lot of this stuff looks suspiciously new, like they'd repaired this. So I think I would be a bit more critical looking at it now with 6 whole months of experience. But yeah, doesn't look incredible, but the space felt good. The vibe of the space was good to me, and I really liked the truck. And I liked the price, and I liked the fact that it didn't have any miles on it. For me, the lower the mileage for it, the box is kind of secondary. You know, you could buy a new box for a few thousand. Hell, you could make one, I guess, if you really wanted to. But if the engine's good, you know, that's worth it. Paying a little bit extra for. So the inside felt very weird, like in comparison to my box truck, my Ford. Very weird sitting inside an Isuzu. Is it a Isuzu or a Isuzu? I don't know. It felt a lot more spacious in there. A lot like it would have been really good for like road trips, because it just felt like you've got these bigger windows, and I don't know, it was definitely more of a road trippy kind of feel. So I really think I would have enjoyed driving it. Oh, that was it. Sorry. I lied. I thought that it had 120,000. It had 83,000 miles on the clock. That was it. That was why I was like chomping at the bit to get at it, because I was just like, even if the box is a load of shit, it's got 83,000 miles on it. Like, this has not really done that much. It's just been back and forth doing some local furniture delivery for a furniture store. And he was saying that most people actually just picked it up. So that's why he was selling it, because most people just picked up their own furniture. So he didn't use it as much as he thought he was going to do. So yeah, 83,000 it was. So the inside was clean, barely used as well. There's the guy. The mistake that I made here is that because it had been sat there for so long, I turned on the engine and it started, but the battery was flat. And rather than letting the engine just run for a little bit, I turned on the engine, let it run for 5 seconds, turned it off, and then when I tried to turn it back on again, the battery was flat, so I couldn't even take it for a test drive. So the story with this one was, and this was kind of calmer, I guess, was I liked it. I wanted to take it from him. I said to him, hey, I'm interested. I want to take it, but I do want to get a mechanic to come and look at it properly. So if it's okay with you, I want to come back tomorrow with the mechanic to check it over, and then I will pay you the full amount for it. And he was like, cool, all good. And I said, look, I'm happy to pay you the price that it is. So you don't have anyone else look at it, I'll pay you a deposit for it. You know, non-returnable, however you want to do it, happy to pay a deposit for it. And he was like, no. And I was like, no, let me just sell you $100, just, you know, because I want it. And I'll come back tomorrow and I'll give you the rest. And he was like, no, don't worry about that. You know, come back tomorrow with the mechanic. No problem at all. And I was like, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Shook his hand and I was like, we got a deal? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. He was like, happy to see it go. And I was like, perfect. So, contacted the mechanic, got the mechanic to agree to come out. And then a few hours later, I got a message from the guy that just said, he texted me and he said, hey, I just had someone come look at it. He's paying me asking price, so I sold it to him. And I was like, what are you talking about? I said that I would pay you asking price. Like, I would even put down a deposit. And he was like, well, it's already been sold, so it's just done. And I was like, you're literally the same price that I was going to pay for it. I was even going to give you money up front to just reserve it. I just wanted to make sure that the engine was okay. So my thinking was one of three things. Either he decided that he was going to convert it himself because he was so intrigued. When I told him about it, I could see the wheels in his mind clicking. Plus, he was like a removals guy. So I don't know, there was something about the way he spoke and the questions he was asking that made me think that he was like, I want to do this myself. So that's option one, which means that he was just like, yeah, let's get rid of this guy and I'm not going to sell it and I'll convert it myself. The second option is that he panicked at the thought of a mechanic looking at it because he knows something was wrong with it mechanically and that the price for it was way off. So that's the second potential option. And he just was like, no, I just want to buy it. Someone who will buy it without asking questions. That's what I want. So potentially it was that. The third option is that he was telling the truth. Someone did take it and he just thought to himself, I would rather have a guaranteed full price now than keep the deal that I struck and potentially it not go through tomorrow or it goes lower. Potentially that could have been it. So either way, sucks, and was kind of probably karma for me agreeing on a truck and then an hour later telling them that I couldn't take it. So that's probably what happened. Anyway, that was truck number 3 that I looked at. Truck number 4 and 5 is this particular truck. This is a photo of a similar truck. It's not my actual truck. But I went to U-Haul, and I went to U-Haul twice and looked at a 10-foot box truck and a 14-foot box truck. So this is the 10-foot one that we're looking at on the right-hand side. The left-hand side is the 14-foot. So this is me looking at the U-Haul trucks. There was tons of them because, I mean, it was literally the U-Haul mechanic depot that they do all the work on the trucks. So there was literally U-Hauls everywhere. It was so cool to be around. This was the 10-foot truck that I was looking at because I was trying to decide whether I was going to go a little bit smaller with the 10-foot where I could park it 100% anywhere that I wanted. And as soon as I opened it up, I'm probably even saying in this voiceover now, it just wasn't for me. It felt small to me. I knew it felt small. Plus there was floor rock clearly. And for me, the 10-foot just did not feel what I was expecting. And I know that I would have struggled with the size. It may be good for someone else. For me, it sounds silly, but the extra 2 foot on the back just made a massive difference to me. So, and I knew as soon as I walked in, but I, walked around and I wanted to get a vibe as to like how new it was. As you can see, like the underside, from what I can see, is pretty damn good. The box itself was not in the perfect condition, but overall, I think it was great. And then I took a look at the 14 foot. So this is the exact 14 foot that I am sat in right now. So spoilers on which one I chose. And as soon as I got to the 14 foot, yes, it was intimidating on the outside because I've never been a truck guy. I have a story about driving that I will tell you another time that will surprise most people. But as you can see it next to my car, the car that I sold, it was just a massive difference. So I was really trying to get it into my head of like what it's like. So I was just looking at it next to the car and was like, holy crap, this is pretty insane. I think my car was 19 foot nose to tail and the truck itself is 22 foot nose to tail, but the sense of scale between them is just wildly different, you know? So I was really trying to wrap my head around the size and knowing that it was going to be just very different to look at. So I filmed my initial reactions and thought process. So I'm gonna cut over to past Chris to see what he had to say about it.
So this is definitely eye-opening to actually just be in one and not just randomly have a random idea of what it may feel like, but actually feel what it feels like and see the size of it. 14, it's got to be 14. There's absolutely no way 10 is too small. 20 times better inside. And it is hot. It is fucking hot. Yeah, it's got to be 14. Definitely got to be 14. But saying that, I think it's a good space. Okay, this looks pretty fucking good, actually.
So I think I walked around the 14 foot just 1,000 times. Opened and closed the back, was just like trying to get a vibe of it, what it was like outside. I went inside, it was like, it's so weird to see this right now. The vibe that I had on it and how different it felt to the 10 foot box truck is just pretty insane. But my gut said this was it. So I just went around, looked at, was trying to figure out what I needed to remove, what I needed to cut, where everything was going to be, the sort of general scale of things. Like it was really just a vibe check more than anything as I was looking around. And then I was just feeling pretty nervous about it, to be honest. So yeah, it was mainly just a vibe check and me just documenting my thoughts on how I was going to plan it out, me figuring out the sofa, the desk, the kitchen area, the shower was going to be here, and all of this stuff. It looks so much smaller on this, which is really weird. It's so weird to look at this because it looks like it's tiny, but now sitting in it just has a totally different size to it. It's really weird. It's really quite strange. I didn't mean this to be a reaction video, so I apologize if this is really self-indulgent. But it just feels so strange to look at this and think about everything that's been through. There you go, look at this. All these U-Hauls is crazy. I couldn't take it for a test drive, so I could only turn the engine on and just sort of hear what it sounded like. But I couldn't take it on a test drive on this day for some reason. I can't remember why. I think it was blocked in by a bunch of others and they were just like, it's not ready for a test drive, but you can go and look at it. So I couldn't actually drive it around. And I was just getting a vibe of sitting in the seat and how different it felt. Wow, this is really weird for me to look at, to be honest, because I feel like it feels like 5 years ago that this happened, but it's like, what is it now, 7-8 months? It's crazy to think, really crazy. Popped the hood, I checked the engine to the best of my knowledge. So eventually I went in, I paid for it. The people in the office were super kind, super nice. When I told them what I was going to do with it, they were like, oh my God, that's crazy. They had not heard of it before. which surprised me. But I guess the whole like the box truck conversion side of van life is like 1% of 1% of 1%. You know, it's very, very niche, I think. So they had not heard of it, despite the fact that they literally worked in U-Haul sales. They were super happy with the fact that it was going to be used for something that wasn't just some random electrician. They were like very, very happy that they were selling something that was going to be someone's living space. So yeah, it was super cool. I'll go into this in another video because this is already pretty long, but the buying process for U-Haul is you look at it. They wouldn't allow me to make an offer on it unless I'd actually looked at it. So I looked at it, and then you have to phone up the like head office, and you have to talk price with the person in the head office. I'd already pre-spoken to the person in the head office. The clerk in the sales office, the in-person sales office, was like, here is the lowest that you'll be able to go, I think. Make an offer below that and let the woman in the head office talk up to this number. She said, but they will not sell it for lower than this number. And it was like $1,000 off. So I was like, cool, okay. So I went in and gave the lowest of lowball and just got laughed at. And then was like, okay, here's why I think it's justified. Spoke my case. Eventually they came up on the price, but it was still lower than the lowest offer that the woman in the office said. So I was like, cool, all good. I'll take it at that price. And then they send the offer through to the clerk at the office and they can release it for that price. But you have to phone up the head office first. And that's it. Paid for it. Got the keys. And then this video was filmed immediately after I made the purchase. I bought it. I'm driving it legally. It's mine. I have the documents to prove it. The steering wheel needs aligning and other stuff, but I own a truck. It's pretty crazy. So I'm just driving it to the storage now where it's going to be kept. Title's going to be transferred to me. So yeah, there we go. On the way. And then I took it back to storage, and all I could think of was just, I've got so much work to do. So that was it. That was my full buying process, essentially. I looked at 4 trucks, 5 technically, and overall I would say that dealing with U-Haul was easy. They were super nice, kind, helpful. They do like a pretty comprehensive mechanical check on it. When I got it checked out by a mechanic afterwards and they compared what they saw to the report, they said, actually, I think that this truck is in better condition than U-Haul had listed on their little sales thing. So that's good to know. So I was pretty happy with the whole process, even though it was stressful. So that was my beginner's buying experience. You know, very, very green. I'm still very green, but I feel like I have a bit more knowledge now that I've been through this a lot. I don't have any particular buying tips for anyone because there's a lot of people out there that have mechanical experience that will be able to give you some things to look for. But all that I can really say is my buying experience through U-Haul, I'm very happy with. Maybe you pay a little bit more, but for that just a little bit extra peace of mind as a newbie, it was very, very helpful. So I will be continuing to build this out probably over the next 6 months to a year. There's loads of stuff to do, but that was my buying experience, and I hope you found it useful. For now, I'm clocking out.